What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today um it's going to be a little bit of a different type of video. As you can see in the background, we got everything wrong with Resident Evil 7. One of my all-time favorite Resident Evil games. It's kind of crazy the fact that it's been out for so long, but uh I thought this video looked kind of interesting, so let's just get started. Alrighty, let's go.
After 20 years, the title Resident Evil finally makes sense, because this game has some actual evil residents as villains, even though it won't be revealed until near the end of the game. Mia is watching this video of herself on a laptop that she stumbled across while running around on a ship, which begs the question why a random laptop had a video file she recorded for her husband Ethan, and why she would watch it before recording a warning message for him.
Exactly, that's what I don't get. How was there already a video of her on this laptop she probably hasn't seen? I don't know, man.
You get this. Stay away.
Telling your husband to stay away when you are clearly in trouble is the one thing you can say that will guarantee he comes searching.
Stay
Definitely.
away.
Stay away from what? You sent this message from a ship going down somewhere in the Atlantic. Yeah, honey, I'm gonna need you to stay away from somewhere around 29 degrees north by 91 degrees west. Mia hoped this video message might one day get to Ethan from this sinking ship. The whole message in a bottle idea looks even dumber when you add electronics into the equation. It shouldn't really need to be said. The Resident Evil 7 is taking its plot straight from Silent Hill 2. Since in that game, a husband gets a message from his supposedly dead wife that causes him to go looking for her.
It's Mia. She's not dead, she's alive. She's back.
Whomever this guy Ethan's talking to on the phone is, he's just a stand-in so Ethan can avoid narrating to the player. But you're not fooling me, game. I know an opening narration when I hear one.
Maybe
Sorry for pausing a lot if it is, but I've actually never seen any gameplay of Silent Hill 2, so I'll just take his word for it.
it's a prank. She wants me to come and get her.
Either Ethan is incredibly dense or his wife really liked playing pranks like faking her death for 3 years.
Where is she?
Dolphin.
This is great. He's already at
Dolphin,
8.
Louisiana.
Whenever a game wants to do Southern horror, it inevitably picks one of two states, Louisiana or West Virginia. And considering that I've lived in one of those states, I understand the reasons for doing so. Ethan doesn't take his car keys with him after arriving at the Baker farm. Upon seeing a strange man walk right across his path, Ethan neither calls out to him nor is disturbed when the guy seemingly vanishes with no obvious
For
way of
real.
vanishing. After seeing a giant gate made of animal meat in the woods next to this farm where his wife is apparently being held, I'd call the cops. Wouldn't you call the cops? Come to think of it, why didn't Ethan call the police as soon as he got the email from his supposedly dead wife? Cell phones work in Louisiana, right? This walk through a very brown forest path is straight out of Resident Evil 4. You might be fooled into thinking that's a good thing, but we should expect better than a game resting on its own history. Mia's been kept prisoner
I
here
can
for
agree.
3 years, and they are only today burning her stuff. Ethan finds a VHS tape left by some ghost hunters who came to this house to shoot a TV show. Name me one TV production, no, even one YouTube production that shoots video on VHS these days. Also, when and why did VHS become the storage medium of choice in horror movies? Was it The Ring? Because that movie came out when it was still not uncommon to see VHS tapes.
God, this man's on a roll.
That is one cheap jump scare. I'm not even giving you a star wipe for that piss poor effort.
Make sure the sound is right this time. I don't want a repeat of Amarillo.
You're recording on VHS. Your sound is going to be tinny and hollow sounding no matter what microphone you use.
Oh my
Okay.
god, that's so
Not feeling
great.
it. Again? Just don't be surprised if we have to make a change.
Ghost hunting TV show host is the biggest dick to ever dick. Your cameraman just turned on the camera. How do you already have a negative opinion of him and want to replace him?
What's the story, Andre?
Abandoned farmhouse, missing family, foul play suspected.
The porch light of this abandoned house was clearly on when you broke in. Abandoned farms don't normally pay the power bill, you know.
Andre! Clancy, you see where Andre went?
Andre immediately wanders away and goes missing. I would like to
bro.
believe that anyone in the ghost hunting business would know better than that. But then again, I guess anyone in the ghost hunting business isn't in it because of a history of smart decisions. The show host crawls into the fireplace and pulls a damper chain like he knows it's going to do something other than open the damper. There wasn't any reason to suspect this would open a hidden door that you weren't even looking
For
for.
real.
We find Andre and we go. I mean, fuck this show.
Why would you think Andre would have gone through the secret entrance that was closed when you found it? Are they Blair Witching us? I think they're Blair Witching us. VHS camera stops working right as Andre is discovered dead and a sinister pair of legs walks up to the camera.
Oh, damn it. Shit. This is why I need YouTube Premium. Go away.
Man. VHS tapes always seem to start malfunctioning right after something bad happens, but before the conclusion. This is why Betamax should have won that format war. There have clearly been multiple murders in this house. Yet Ethan refuses to show even an ounce of intelligence by leaving and getting the cops. Basements are almost unheard of in Louisiana for good reason. Yet this house somewhere near the Mississippi Delta has the most extensive basement I've ever seen. For the purpose of this video, I'm introducing a new feature, the jump scare counter, because there's no way I'm going to try to come up with some witty way of sending each and every one. If something scary jumps out, I'm dinging it and moving on.
Mia?
Ethan
Alright, so
doesn't
one
yell or
so
do
far.
anything to wake up Mia sleeping in a cell. Not like this is your wife who's been missing for 3 years. He reacts to seeing his missing wife for the first time in 3 years as if he just got home from shopping and found her sleeping on the couch.
Ethan?
Are you alright?
You shouldn't be here.
Despite being infected before any of the Bakers, Mia has moments where she is in complete control of herself. Also, for someone who's been in living hell for 3 years, Mia's in remarkably good shape.
Daddy's...
Bro, literally throughout this entire experience, when has Ethan just not have a single, like, emotion? Like, oh, I find my dead wife after 3 years. Are you okay? That's all he says, bro, I swear.
coming. We need to go.
I'll take things you never want to hear your wife say for 500, Alex.
You contacted me.
No, I wouldn't. Did I?
When you hide your plot behind
Probably.
amnesia, you aren't trying hard enough. I think it should be required that all the horror stories this game rips from should be listed on the back label. Caution, contains scenes ripped from the Blair Witch Project, The Grudge, Silent Hill 2, Saw, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Despite Evelyn controlling Mia to bring Ethan here so she could create a surrogate family for herself, her first order of business is to have Mia kill Ethan.
I've been bad.
Oh my god.
I deserve this.
I'll take things you do want to hear your wife say for 500, Alex. I just noticed that Ethan doesn't wear a wedding ring. Ethan goes about killing his wife with
Oh,
remarkable
what?
calm. Doesn't even stop to grieve after believing he's killed her.
My name's Zoe. There should be a way out through the attic.
Zoe, the baker's daughter, somehow knows that not only is Ethan inside the guest house, but what room he's in so she can call and tell him what to do.
I never understood that.
This same exact jump scare happens like 5 times in this game. No joke. I'm starting to think Ethan is the least human person in this game. Guy can have his arm chainsawed off and barely flinch. Rather than finish you off, I'll meet you up in the attic after you found yourself a handgun. Even if Mia makes it out of all this and is cured, there are going to be some trust issues. Zoe can just staple Ethan's hand back on and heal it with some antiseptic spray.
Eat it.
Yep.
It's good.
His hands are tied to a chair, so eating is going to be a bit difficult right now.
Dumb some bitch wasn't no good if it hit him.
Yeah.
Wow, just nostalgic. This is a pretty accurate depiction of a Southern family supper, just with a bit of added cannibalism. Though give it a few more years and cannibalism might become a bit more common.
Oh my god.
These people are losing more hands than a Skywalker. If you're duct taped to a chair, tipping yourself over means you are now duct taped to a chair and on the floor. You can't create slack
Usually.
and duct tape by changing your center of gravity. I don't care how many green herbs you ground up to make that first aid medicine. It shouldn't reattach Ethan's leg.
You did good, Ethan.
Zoe, right?
How does Zoe always know what room Ethan is in and that he can answer the phone? Last time she saw Ethan, he was tied up to a chair about to have dinner with her parents, yet somehow knows he escaped and hid inside the laundry room. Also, if the phones in this place work and Zoe is desperate to get away, she could call the police. Come to think of it, it never once crosses Ethan's mind to use his phone to call the cops, even though the phones can call out and receive calls because a cop interrupts dinner with a phone call.
You're not.
For real. Call the cops. I'm pretty sure there's... Okay, let's back up. The first phone is in the guest house. The second phone is when you first get the key with Jack, in that room where he was just in the video. There's a phone in the old house where you first get the serum. I know spoilers, but there's a phone in the trailer, and there's a phone in that fancy part of the house that's downstairs. Like, are you serious? Like,
Listening to me. There are crazy people in this house trying to fucking kill me.
Well, all right. Let me tell you this. You don't exactly seem like you playing with a full deck yourself, all right?
He has knife wounds on his face and his hand is held on by staples. You can at the very least call this one in. This control box to the garage was locked by 4 strands of duct tape that you can only open with a knife the deputy gives you. This is the very same duct tape you were tied to a chair with and escaped by tipping the chair over.
oh my god,
Not
really?
surprising at all, really. I mean, black guy, first to die. Hey, I didn't make the game. I don't choose the cliches. I'd be interested in...
Oh my god.
knowing how Jack is accelerating
Canceled.
the car without putting his foot on the pedal. Hell, the old guy can even put it in reverse without touching the gear shift. Jack survives this, and this, and this. That's kind of his theme.
There's something I need you to do, but I can't explain it right now.
Character who could totally explain it right now says she can't explain things right now to the person whose life is in the most danger. It at least made some twisted sense that the Spencer mansion was full of bizarre door locks and puzzles. But this is just a big farmhouse in Louisiana. So why do they have emblem keys and shadow locks?
Ethan, if you find this, I know I can't expect anything from you.
Mia really likes relying on videotapes lying around on the off chance Ethan finds them. Also, the idea that Mia holds up this bulky VHS recorder through this entire section and keeps recording even though she's being chased is a bit too ridiculous even for found footage horror movies.
Join large-scale battles with
not
military
another
vehicles.
ad,
The
bro.
online action game War Thunder has received a major update.
No.
movies.
Where do you think you're going?
How did you make Mia's light go out so you could jump scare her? This tape ends with Mia being dragged away by Marguerite, which means Marguerite was the one who took the tape back to the house and put it on the table after capturing Mia. Honestly, Jack walking through a door and grabbing Ethan was one of the best scares I've had in a while simply because it's so simple. But it's still a jump scare, so that means it gets a star wipe. The world of Resident Evil has had multiple mutagenic viruses, parasites, and now mold as its nightmare fuel. At this rate, Resident Evil 10 will be about a cancerous internet meme Umbrella tweeted out.
Nice.
We can add Evil Dead to the back label now. Jack survives this.
My family and I,
Indeed.
our bodies are contaminated. I can't leave the property unless I get it out. And the same goes for Mia.
Is there a way to get it out?
We need the serum.
And I, a simple farm girl, just so happen to know how to synthesize a serum for a weaponized parasitic fungus I've never studied.
Stay the fuck out!
There are only two different types of jump scares in this entire game. Door openings and suddenly appearing all up in your grill. Crawling through narrow crevice loading gate.
I told you to stay out of here!
I'm not sure how being infected with mold gives Marguerite the ability to control insects, but it does. The guy who paints ledges with white paint for some reason thought he needed to put paint on ladder rungs.
I haven't found any. But I did find out we need to make one. A D-series head and an arm. This can't be right.
A head? I think I have that around here somewhere.
Why are you so certain that you can make a serum for the mold if you didn't even know what was needed to make one until just now? This fight against Marguerite has so many jump scares in it, I'm just adding 3 sins to the star wipe counter for good measure. Thanks, game. I really needed to see an old woman with a wasp nest for a crotch. Why specifically
For
do you need the
real,
arm and
gross.
head of a mummy to create an antidote for this mold? I know these mummies are former bioweapons like Evelyn, but that doesn't explain what's so special about their arms and head. Wouldn't it have been easier to just slip a cell phone in Ethan's pocket after you reattach his arm? You did give him a smartwatch back then after all.
Hey, buddy!
Apparently the ability to know when Ethan is near a phone runs in the family.
Only if you participate in a little, activity I put together. Just for you!
You having a stroke
Actually,
there?
you put it together first for the cameraman and the ghost hunting group. Ethan is only the second person that we know of to run through your Saw-inspired death trap room. Before Ethan can get to Mia and Zoe, he has to find 2 key cards that will get him into Lucas's barn. Strangely, Lucas left a VHS tape recorded by the last person he put into his death trap room right next to one of the key cards, which lets Ethan watch it and know how to avoid the lethal fire trap that killed the last guy. How the hell was this guy recording via VHS when his hands were clearly tied? There's no GoPro that uses tapes to my knowledge. There is no way you wouldn't have felt all the nails in the giant fountain pen inside that balloon while you were putting it over the gas pipe. Not to mention that filling a balloon full of nails to turn it into a shrapnel grenade likely wouldn't work, since the nails inside would puncture the balloon long before it could fill up enough to pop. Nor would a balloon popping have enough force to send nails flying through your hand. Turns out the cake was a lie in this game too.
Yep. Sounds about right.
This guy takes burning alive really well. Despite the fire, the camera that recorded everything survived just fine. Lucas can be described as Ernest goes to that city where the Saw movies take place. This joke would be a lot funnier if they ever mentioned the name of the city the Saw movies are set in. This room was burnt in an oil fire the last time we saw it. Now it's completely back to normal.
Motherfucker! Yes, sir!
I just realized that. Did they just go through like a full like remodel like of just that area? Like what?
Well, yeah, but you were the one who left the videotape of your last victim in the same room as the keycard. According to this camera feed, Lucas set up a camera to keep an eye on Mia and Zoe at the pier. Inside that room, however, there is no camera to be found.
Now that would be telling, Ethan. And I don't do spoilers.
Except for that one that completely ruined your plan to kill Ethan. According to Zoe, this serum is only good if the infection hasn't progressed very far. So people like your mother and father would only die if injected. However, Mia has been infected longer than anyone, and Zoe has been infected just as long as the rest of her family. So how come the serum can cure them?
Ethan, this way.
Interesting.
Use the serum on on him.
Would have helped if you had opened that door a little sooner and told Ethan how to kill your father once and for all.
It's fine. It was foolish thinking I could escape.
But Zoe...
Go! Both of you just go!
Well, you were the one who told Ethan to use one of your only 2 syringes of serum. Are you...
For real? Like, if I just shot him probably a couple more times, just straight up, we would have both of the serums and we could all go together.
Really that surprised that he used the other to cure his wife instead of the woman he just met? I have a hard time believing a ship that big can make it this far up the bayou, or that it could have run aground here 3 years ago and no one ever noticed. There is no possible way Ethan could have washed up inside the ship wreckage after the boat was capsized. This area is walled off from the river by wreckage from the ship. Mia doesn't wear a wedding ring either. Right now, Mia isn't infected with the mold since she was cured with the serum, so Evelyn shouldn't be able to make her hallucinate anymore.
Are you remembering?
What? What are you?
I'm a creepy little stereotype. You may remember me from The Ring and all those other movies and games that ripped off The Ring.
Watch it.
What? Why?
You need to remember, so we can be a family.
You had 3 years to show Mia this tape, and you obviously wanted to since you believe it will convince her to be your mother. This ship ran aground 3 years ago. There is no way there is any power here to run a TV. I like the idea of showing things that happened in the past through a recording way more than a flashback, but it still has to make sense. There is no reason for Mia to bother recording the attack on the ship 3 years ago while fighting off mold monsters.
She must have infected me during the attack.
Mia and Alan were in charge of transporting Evelyn, their company's bioweapon, to a new location when she went berserk and infected her partner Alan and the crew, which makes me wonder why they didn't bring any of this serum with them just in case of infection. They brought Evelyn's DNA sample with them to synthesize a poison to kill Evelyn just in case, but no way of curing themselves.
How's it going?
Bro, this man is already at 94 of the counter. That's insane. But only 11 jump scares. At 13 minutes, bro. But no, we waited so long for the cure. But I guess Alan had it the entire time. I'm guessing that was the cure. And then we get it towards the end of the game. Like, what?
She's vomiting. Far more in excess of her body mass.
Which is against the laws of physics. But whatever, that's pretty par the course for Resident Evil.
I think she's on the other side of this door. But I don't have a key.
Try to melt down the lock. You're on the bottom level, right? Check our luggage.
Because I remembered to pack bottles of corrosive acid before we left. You know, just in case. This tanker ship has a lot of improvised explosive devices laying around for no good reason.
How did you get here?
Where's Evie?
Notice how Alan didn't answer that question. This game opened with Mia watching a recording she made earlier for Ethan, then recording a warning message for him. Now that we're back at this scene, she doesn't watch her first video and just goes straight to recording her warning video for Ethan. It should be noted that if Mia were actually recording all this on tape, we would see her holding or wearing a camera in this webcam recording. Unnecessary amnesia, evil little girl who was part of an experiment, hallucinations, and a big reveal that you had a hand in making all this happen. Everything about this plot seems so familiar. Wait a minute. Searching, written by Richard Piercy, who also wrote Fear and Spec Ops: The Line. Oh yes, it all makes sense now. I'm still trying to figure out how Mia was recording all this while hanging onto a ship and getting dunked in the ocean and falling unconscious. Hell, how was this tape recovered and brought back to the ship if it fell in the ocean with Mia?
Now do you remember?
I don't know, man.
I remember.
Can we be a family like before?
What in that tape exactly made you think Mia would want to be your mother after watching it? The tape just shows you killing everyone on the ship, including her partner, and then infecting her with mold and mind controlling her. I really like this game, so when I say the jump scares are getting increasingly lazy, it comes from a place of love.
Maybe it still works.
No, it really shouldn't. The ship washed ashore 3 years ago after exploding.
Liar!
This game is pushing the new star wipe counter to the limit.
Hey, shh. I know. I'm not gonna hurt you.
While Ethan is inside the mold, he meets Jack Baker. Considering that Jack Baker is dead, I'm not sure how they're having this conversation, since Resident Evil has always been about monsters created through science and not anything supernatural. And this seems pretty supernatural to me.
I'm no killer, son. Neither is Marguerite, nor my boy Lucas.
Well, not exactly your son Lucas. He was apparently pretty crazy before Evelyn infected him with the mold, and remained that way after he was freed from her control by the company that made Evelyn.
She forces her way into your mind, your soul. You can't fight back.
Except for Mia, Ethan, and your daughter Zoe, who all fought back.
You find her, and you stop her.
For what?
They're basically saying that Mia, Zoe, and Ethan are like the most powerful people to really be in this scenario. But yet, Marguerite, Lucas, and Jack Baker all just like immediately got infected if you do one of the DLCs. It's called Daughters. So
whatever reason, Jack doesn't bother telling Ethan that Evelyn and the old woman in the wheelchair are the same person, since without her medication, Evelyn aged at an accelerated rate.
Free my family.
But your family is dead, except for Lucas.
Now go kill that little bitch.
It would help if you told him that Evelyn was the old woman and the little girl was just an hallucination.
This is Alpha 1. Report. Did you find anything?
A thorough search of the Baker property revealed 0 survivors.
While listening to this ham radio, Ethan hears Umbrella agents talking about how they found no one at the Baker mansion, even though Zoe stayed behind and Evelyn, the old woman in the wheelchair, should be there right now. Ethan decides to make a detour through a salt mine. He really has no reason to go down there. Sure, there's a lab down there with a way to kill Evelyn, but he doesn't know that. Since there wasn't time to do this correctly, here's a massive info dump of information through lab reports on Evelyn and the mold she controls. And yes, somehow the company that made Evelyn found where she ended up and set up a lab in a salt mine instead of transporting her to where Mia was originally taking her. It was pretty fortunate that Ethan came down here, since there's a device that allows him to create the necrotoxin that can kill Evelyn, using her own biological sample that Mia had on her for 3 years and gave to Ethan with no instruction on what to do with it. The salt mine leads all the way back to the basement of the guest house where Mia tried to kill Ethan. Evelyn starts showing Ethan hallucinations back to the time Mia attacked him instead of doing something that would actually stop him from killing her.
yeah, like that's what I don't get. Like everything just falls into place. I don't know if it's every Resident Evil game, but mostly Resident Evil 7 and 8, so Biohazard and Village, if you look at it that way, he just goes pretty much where he wants to go and somehow it still works out. That's what I don't understand.
If Evelyn can create hallucinations and make Ethan see whatever she wants, why on earth would she create an illusion of her little girl self standing in the same place she was in real life? Why not make an illusion of herself over one of her mold monsters and have Ethan waste his only syringe of necrotoxin on that? Wouldn't be a Resident Evil game without a final boss like this.
I mean, fair enough.
Ethan survives this. Better idea. Since you're the guy in the helicopter with a bird's eye view of Evelyn, you shoot her with a pistol. Wait, pistol? Not a rocket launcher? The fuck?
I'm Redfield.
If you were expecting me to explain why Chris Redfield, or whomever this is working for Umbrella, then you're out of luck. Wikipedia provided no answers, and I'm not delving into fan theories in these videos. But don't worry, this game tells you after the credits that Redfield is the main character for the DLC. I'm sure you'll get your answers there for a nominal fee. Hey, I'm okay again for some reason. Even though when you last saw me, I was infected with a mold again and losing control to Evelyn. Wasn't Umbrella largely destroyed in the previous games and the remnants of it considered a terrorist organization? How can they operate so openly in the US by flying a helicopter with their logo on it? Flying off into the sunset cliché. It's been 20 years, Capcom. Pick a different way to end Resident Evil games.
But yes, that is what I don't understand about Resident Evil games and all that shit. So, crazy enough, basically what I got from that video is she's always fine throughout the entire, like, game. How did she get to the ship? Did they go into that one specific room, somehow got her, like, to not be infected or something? Like, I don't understand. Anyways, guys, enough of me reacting. That was everything wrong with Resident Evil 7. I kind of agree with some parts. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked it, please make sure to give this a like. Comment down below what you guys want to see next. And see you guys in the next video.